Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss budding, budding process in yeast. In yeast. In the last class, we discussed the budding process in the hydra. Now we are going to discuss in yeast. How it will be. It is budding is common method. Budding is common. Okay, common method. Budding is common method of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Okay, children. In yeast. In yeast. Next, during this process, a small bud, a small bud like growth. During this process, a small bud like growth, outgrowth. So simple growth, not what you called outgrowth. Okay, outgrowth appears at one end. Appears at one end of the parent cell, which gradually enlarges in size. The nucleus, next, the nucleus enlarges and divides into two daughter nuclei. Next, one daughter nucleus okay, children, one daughter nucleus goes into the bud, and the other remains in the parent cell. Okay, children, gradually the bud becomes almost of the same size almost of the same size as the parent cell. Then a constriction appears okay, at the base of bird, and it gets detached, sometimes a number of birds are also formed from formed from this newly this newly formed cell before its detachment from parent cell from parent cell, okay. Resulting into a chain of cells resulting into a chain of cells. Like this, the budding process will be there in what you call yeast. Okay, children, I am drawing with the diagram. Once you check it, this is a yeast. Okay, nucleus is there. Second, what you called small constriction like this formed. The nucleus will be going like this. Okay, like this bird. Then what is happening? Little more, the development process is going on. The nucleus will be like this. Later this will be divided, nucleus will be divided here and here, it will be divided to nucleus. The third stage, the last stage, what will happen? Like this. The next stage one will be like this and another will be like this. This is only called new. These are called new yeast cells. New yeast cells. Okay, that is important. These two are what is called daughter nuclei. Daughter nuclei. Okay. What about this nuclear division? What is going on here? Nuclear division. Okay, nuclear division. So this is called bud. Okay, children. So this total process is budding in what do you call yeast. Budding in yeast. Okay, children. Observe very carefully. We are going to discuss about budding process in the yeast. It's a one type of sexual reproduction. Budding is common method of a sexual reproduction in yeast. Very common method. During this process, a small bud-like outgrowth appears. Small bud-like outgrowth appears at one end of the parent cell, which gradually enlarges in size. So, one bud-like appearance. Small bud-like outgrowth appears at one end of the parent cell, which gradually enlarges in size. The nucleus enlarges and divides into two daughter nuclei. One daughter nucleus goes into the bud and the other remains in the parent cell. Okay, see the picture, what is going on. So, outgrowth is there or not? This is the outgrowth from parent cell. The nucleus divided, two nuclei. One is going to the daughter nucleus, another one is located in the parent cell. Gradually, the bud become almost of the same size of the parent cell. So, same size of the parent cell. The construction will be appears, okay, the base. Then what will happen? And last it gets detached. So like this, new buds will be formed. This process is called budding in yeast. Sometimes a number of buds are also formed. From this newly formed bud, number of buds will be formed before its detachment from the parent cell. So from here itself, number of buds will be formed from the parent cell, resulting in a chain of cells will be formed. So this is about what budding of the yeast. What you call this process is called budding of the yeast. Okay, children, that is called budding of the yeast. Next, we are going to discuss about spore formation. what we are going to discuss? The spore formation in the fungus or in the spore bearing organisms. Spore formation. Spore formation. Observe very carefully. Spore formation. Spore. Number one. What is spore? A spore is a single, okay, or several celled reproductive, what you call reproductive structure. That detaches from the parent and gives rise okay, directly or indirectly to a new individual. This is important. Reproduction by the formation of spore. Reproduction by the formation of spores is a common method. Okay, a common method of asexual, okay, reproduction. Sexual reproduction in some bacteria. Okay, and most of the fungi. Okay, children, the spores are, what is spores? The spores are unicellular bodies. The spores are unicellular bodies formed by cell division. Okay, children, formed by cell division in the parent organism. This one, okay, very important. Parent organism. Okay, spores are very small, generally very small. Okay, spores are very small and light. Okay, very light. Okay, next, thereby easily distribute. Throughout the easily dispersed. Easily dispersed by wind, water, and animals. Some have thick resistance. Resistant wall is there. Somehow thick resistant wall, very very important, which enable them walls which enable them, okay, thick resistance wall which enables them, okay, to survive, okay, to survive even in unfavorable, what you call unfavorable, very very important conditions, unfavorable conditions, okay, this is important. During the growth of fungus, during the growth of the fungus, what will happen? Rhizopus, fungus, rhizopus, okay, small rounded bulb-like structures, develop at the top, of the erect hypae, develop at the erect hypae. Such structures, next, such structures are called, what is called, very very important, sporangia. What is called? Sporangia. Such structures are called sporangia. Inside, next one, inside each sporangium, okay, each sporangium, inside each sporangium, nucleus, inside each sporangium, what you called, nucleus divides several times. Nucleus divides several times. So this is important. Next, several times. Each nucleus gets surrounded by a small amount of, a little amount of cytoplasm to become spore. Okay, children, that is important. Large number of spores, okay, large number of spores are formed inside the sporangium, After some time, sporangium bursts. Okay, sporangium burst. Very very important. Burst. Okay, and spores are released in the air. When these spores are okay, which are land on food, okay, food, soil, okay, soil, under favorable condition, okay, favorable conditions, under favorable conditions, they germinate into, it become a new individual. Okay, children. Observe very carefully. We are discussing about the spore formation. What we are discussing? Spore formation in the fungus. Single or several celled reproductive structures. Spore, single or several reproductive structures that detaches from the parent. So that detaches from the parent and gives rise directly or indirectly to a new individual. Reproduction by the formation of spores is a common, very common method of asexual reproduction. No gametes, no fusion, nothing. That's why asexual reproduction in some bacteria, where especially some bacteria and most of the fungus. Once again, single or several celled reproductive structures that detach from the parent and gives rise directly or indirectly to a new individual. Directly or indirectly it will give new individual. Reproduction by the formation of spore is common method of asexual reproduction in some bacteria and most of the fungus. Bacteria, fungus. Spores are unicellular bodies. Spores are nothing but just unicellular bodies formed by cell division. How these are forming? By the cell division. Okay, by the cell division in the parent organism. Spores are very small, light, thereby easily dispersed by the wind, water and animals. Some have thick resistant walls. The spores are surrounded by a thick resistant wall will be there, unable to survive even in unfavorable conditions. This resistance wall is there or not? That protects the spore from unfavorable conditions. So, during the growth of rhizopus fungus, small rounded bulb-like structure. See, this is the like this bulb-like structure will be there in the fungus. Okay, bulb-like structures like this. These bulb-like structures only what we are calling, they are only calling, what you called, structures develop at the top of the erect hyphae. This is hyphae, this is a bulb-like structure. That is only called, what you call, sporangia. Inside each sporangium, what you call, nucleus divides several times and each nucleus gets surrounded a little amount of cytoplasm. Okay, cytoplasm will be present. Becomes a spore. This will become what? Spore. Nucleus is there, cytoplasm is there. What do you call that is? That is called the spore. Nucleus is there, cytoplasm is there. Large number of spores are formed inside the sporangium. After some time, the sporangium will be burst and all spores released on air. The spores land on food. The spores land on food, soil under favorable conditions. The new individual. What happened? A large sized spores will be located inside of the sporangium. Large number of spores are formed inside the sporangium. After some time, sporangium will be burst. Burst means it will be spill. So, and spores are released in the air and the spores land on food, soil under favorable conditions. Favorable conditions. The new individual will be formed. So this is only called spore formation. Tomorrow we will be discuss some more about other vegetative propagation methods.